I'm well. You're on air, Jill. Thank you. Committee, thank you very much for your attendance today. It's 1:32. We'll call the meeting to order. Is there any member of this committee declaring a pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 3 on the agenda. The agenda has been circulated. Are there any errors or additions found in your research? Seeing none, may I have a motion to entertain the agenda accepted as circulated? Yes, Dennis Harmsworth has moved it, seconded by Mike Scholdice. Discussion? In favor? Carried. Sheila, has Cara Finn registered yet? Is she on yet? If not, we'll just move on and we can come back.
No. She's going to pop in about 2 o'clock, so
2 o'clock.
we can watch for her.
Yep.
And
Okay.
we'll let her in right then for her commitment.
And I do have that in my notes that she'll give a verbal presentation at or around 2. Just checking the order of agenda, and I saw it there. We will go into number 5. We'll come back and visit Cara later when she arrives. The consent agenda has from A to J on it. I'm going to co-chair this with Sheila and Jill. They have background on these aspects that I'm sure they'll want to share with the committee. So Sheila, I will hand that consent agenda to you. If you would like to start at 5A, and committee, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I, as chair, will recognize you, and we'll make sure that you try to get a wholesome answer out of Sheila or Jill or myself. Okay, Sheila, you take it away.
Okay, and thank you. If I can just take a brief minute too. We have Amy Choi joining us today. Amy's been quite a cheerleader for the business community and has some interest in possibly being a part of the committee. Amy's a real estate agent. She works with Redberry Gardens and I believe several other businesses. I'm not sure if she wants to say anything or if she just would like to listen for today.
Amy, we're delighted to have you. No, on behalf of everyone, Amy, thank you for coming, and you unmute and you're all set. There you go. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Yeah,
Good.
so I'm very happy to kind of sit in and see how this plays out. I am interested in being part of the committee, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, that would be great. New faces sometimes foster new ideas, Amy, and we are delighted to have you, and thanks for joining us. Thank you, Sheila.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just carry on. So 5A is the economic development meeting minutes, which are fairly standard. The next item is the announcement for RED funding, and if possible, we will try to put in an application for this if everything fits their parameters. 5C, 5D,
One
5E,
question,
5F.
Sheila, one question on B there, if I could, on the RED funding. And I think I'll direct this to Jill. Jill, there was some language in there that it said outcome-based projects. Now, have you got a definition or can give us an idea of what they mean by that? Does that mean they want hard goods, outcome-based projects this RED funding is for, and or they prefer it to be for? Is there a way to interpret that, or Sheila?
Yeah, I can jump in. Sheila, if you want to pop in afterwards, that's fine. Outcome-based typically means they're looking for a direct link between the economy. So they're normally looking for tangible results as an outcome, not so much a specific project necessarily, but something that actually helps to deliver on their set goals and stated objectives. Is that
Yep,
fair,
no, that
Sheila?
covers it. Yeah, for some reason I kind of interpreted it as they didn't want so much a policy document, but something tangible. But I understand what it is now. And Sheila, I'm sorry for interrupting you there, but it was important that I grasp that. Go ahead.
No problem. So 5C, 5D, 5E, and 5F are all from the last council meeting, so August 25th, I believe it was. Greg couldn't be here today, he's off. So I don't know if Jill wants to expand on these, but they're just items that we want everyone to be aware of and to spread the word in the community if there's ever any questions about these things.
Yeah, thank you, Sheila. I don't have any specific things. I mean, most of these were dealt with just at the last meeting, presented to council. So any of the members of council could also speak to this, but volunteerism, just as an FYI, as to, how that works. And we have Councillor Cowell, who is a regular participant with her young crew that help out and volunteer to do good stuff. So it's just an explanation to avoid any confusion about how that works, because there was a little bit of confusion that we were not able to have volunteers. Vision Zero relates to public safety with respect to traffic, and a vision that was started in, I believe, the Netherlands, and many large urban centers in various parts of the world have adopted a policy with respect to transportation and engineering for zero impacts to pedestrians and cyclists when they're traveling with vehicles, and other vehicles being safe with other vehicles. And the Downtown Improvement Council did support the recommendation, and so we'll be seeing further activity for ongoing improvements downtown. And that's about it. But if anyone has any questions, happy to answer them.
Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I've been contacted about the new street lights and the amount of light that they are providing. And I just wondered if anybody else on the committee has received any concerns on it as well.
I have, Mike, I've had two concerns expressed on that as well. So you're not alone. I'm not sure what the requirements are. I know that there is an increasing number of apartment units in downtown Glencoe, so we have to be concerned about light pollution as well. But it was a question I'm certainly going to ask Stephen if I can find him, but you're not alone. I've had two individuals, but I can't answer. I can't give you an answer in terms of lumens or anything like that. We'll have to do some research on that. And Jill, if you could add to that, it'd be great.
Sure, I believe I have to double check the report that went to council when it was approved to move forward, but the whole area was engineered by specialists who do provide that kind of engineering work to ensure that streets are safe. So, I mean, this has been engineered to make sure that we've got the appropriate light coverage within the community.
Yes, Mark.
Mayor Mayhew?
Yep, just a minute now. Harold, I'll let you go, and followed by Mark McGill.
I was going to say, night before last, actually, I was up on Main Street late at night, and I found the lighting was not in comparison to what we did have with our old lighting. Where you can really pick up on it is if you go down the main street towards the No Frills. There's still 3 of the old lights still lit down in that section. And you can see a significant difference in the lighting because when you can compare those 2 different areas there.
Yeah, I think too, the focus should be, we have to have the correct amount of light. The project of replacement was, of course, based on the deterioration of those old lights. But that being said, the focus was not to increase our light or match our light. Our focus on engineering was to have the correct amount of light, but we'll have to make some investigations on that, Harold.
Yeah,
And
okay.
because we've had some, Mike's not alone in his in the query that was addressed to him. I've had two, and we'll check again. But it was engineered, as Jill said, and we were assured that it would be an appropriate and in comparison with other municipalities. Okay, yes, go ahead, Councillor McGill.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I recall from when we got the report on the lights initially, I think the amount of light they give out is adjustable. So I think this just needs to be passed on by Jill to Public Works, and perhaps they can do something about it. And I think the way Greg explained it to us, they don't even need to be all the same. Like you could have more light in some areas than in other areas if for some reason, and even the direction the light is aimed can be changed. So I feel there's probably a solution to this, unless somebody wants a level of light that for whatever reason that isn't safe, but I doubt that would be the case. Sometimes people don't like lights. So it sounds like in this case, there isn't enough light so far.
Yep. We'll follow. That's valuable information, Mark, and we'll certainly take that into consideration. Sheila, you left off at 5F, I believe, council information parking spaces. Is there anything further, council, on that? And I'll, the only 5F was included. Yes, Councillor Scholdice, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I guess really I'd just like to point out that this plan will greatly reduce parking spots on Main Street. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody on the committee is aware of that, and anybody watching this meeting, that we will have less parking spots on Main Street with this plan.
I was going to bring that same information forward to Councillor Scholdice and Sheila. We know that the setback distance on some of the corners has been inadequate for a very long period of time. We have had accidents, and years ago there was actually one death from a pedestrian at the corner of Main and Sims. And that being said, vehicles today have changed. There's not the sedans on the road that there once was. There are more pickup trucks and there's more SUVs, and vision at these corners is seriously impaired. And if we are to become a Vision Zero community, the proposed parking arrangement is in correlation with a Vision Zero community, that we have safe intersections. That being said, my biggest concern was the reduction of parking spots around the post office, but the area does have a parking lot for customers should they wish to use them. And the other one on the corner of McCrae and Main, there is parking available behind the train station and things of that nature for employees and things like that. I think we will have to emphasize, I think, to the business community, Councillor Scholdice, that it would be great if staff could park in areas other than Main Street. And I think that would accommodate a lot of the problems. There are some businesses in the community have up to 12 employees, and it would be very useful if they could park in other areas other than customer parking. Yeah, Councillor McGill.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. And I think I recall the previous council had the no parking signs moved back at the corner of McKellar and Main. And I think it was Rick Cowell who made the motion. I remember being at the meeting. Rick would probably remember.
Yeah.
And that was a big improvement.
It was.
It reduced the amount of parking on Main Street, but at the same time, it made that intersection a lot safer.
It certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, I received it very well. I spent a considerable amount of time on Main Street, and it was long overdue. Yep, Councillor Cowell, go ahead.
One of the things we've talked about before as well is the parking that is just behind Main Street. I believe that's a municipal lot across from the municipal offices. And while it's not perfect, it does provide a spillover space, especially during the summertime when the weather is nicer and it's easier to accommodate a little bit of a walk-in. So I think the mayor's comments about requesting that employees park over there would definitely benefit the business owners. And I know in the past it had been discussed about timing of the parking spaces on the main street. And at that time, there wasn't an appetite for it, but it's something we can be mindful of in the future. If we find that there continues to be an issue with parking on the main street for customers, that might be something we do because it would reduce the number of employees parking there.
It would, yeah. Good point, Councillor Cowell. There's, of course, a cost, and for the benefit of committee members, they chalk the tire marks on the pavement, and then they'll come back 2 hours later and check the chalk marks and the tire relationship, and that's how they. But it takes a bylaw officer extra time, and of course they're paid for their services. But you're absolutely correct, Councillor Cowell, that would remediate the situation, even if it was only for a temporary period of time. Okay, we've talked about lights, we've talked about parking. Sheila, you take the gavel here. And oh, I've got a question. I don't want to miss anyone. Yes, Rick Cowell, go ahead, Rick.
Does this mean with Vision Zero and the parking and all that, maybe a cross be revisited for pedestrians?
Possibly. I think Vision Zero is a sort of philosophy that there's guidelines and standards that you'd like to make, and we focus on trying to attain that utopia, so to speak. But I don't know if any of this, Jill, if you could address Rick's question, or Sheila on Vision Zero, what our responsibilities are at this point by endorsing it.
With respect to crosswalks specifically?
Rick, is that your point, your crosswalk?
Well, no, I was the two things, the Vision Zero, which is transportation, and the fact that we're already losing parking spaces. That was one of the big concerns from the merchants downtown, why they didn't want a crosswalk, is the number of parking spaces that they would lose. I just wonder, some of that's already being cleaned up another way that might not be the same loss or a different loss.
Yeah, there was certainly a difference between the parking spots. What we're looking at is setback from the corner for parking a vehicle. That's what we're looking at. So technically on some intersections, I think that of the four corners on the intersections, there may be some are appropriately set back, but there could be anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3, a maximum of 4. But in relationship to the numbers that were going to be lost through Chris Trainey's report, I'm confident to say they're not as many. And not to mention that a proper setback on intersections for parking does not just benefit people coming to the corner, it'll also help pedestrians. You can see vehicles coming and going. There's a benefit to the pedestrian traffic as well as the driving traffic. Sheila, I don't see any hands up. I think we've addressed parking, we've addressed lights. I'd continue on. It's very important that Sheila get out of here by 3 or very, very shortly after that. She has another commitment, and I would like to do accommodate her if I could, committee.
Thank you. And I just have to apologize. You may hear some barking very soon, but hopefully it'll be minimal. So the next item is 5G, and it's a snapshot of when we launched the website. And it just shows the number of users that took a look at our website, locations where they might have been from, different things like that. So it's just a quick snapshot that I just wanted to put in there as some quick information. And at some point again later, I will provide some more updates on those types of things as we move along with it. The next item is just, it's just some advertising from different companies that are involved in communications tools. And it's just basic information at this time. The next item, 5I, is a memo from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. And it was from the council meeting as well, and it's just concerning noise in relation to deliveries and things like that. 5J is, I expect that Kara will talk about this one when she joins us. This was just our meeting minutes from our roundtable discussion. We meet quarterly and we share what's happening in each community, and we try to kind of help each other out and share ideas and things like that. So that's all the consent agenda items that I have for you for today.
Okay, thank you, Sheila, very much. That concludes section 5 of the agenda. Are there any further questions, council? May I have a motion to receive the consent agenda as documented and explained? Yes, Councillor Crothers moved it. Is there a seconder for that? Yeah, we got, yeah, all right. Yep, Dennis, thank you very much. Dennis Harmsworth has seconded that. Final last call for questions. Yes, Sheila.
Just want to verify that that's also approving the June 3rd minutes.
Okay, we'll do that. Yes, that's very important. Harold, you have no problem including that in your motion that we approve the June 3rd minutes as well? I neglected to do that.
That'll be fine, Mayor Mayhew.
And Dennis,
That'll be fine.
Yeah, no objection, Dennis. Good. Okay. I'll call the question that the minutes be approved of the previous meeting and that the consent agenda be accepted. All in favor? Motion's carried. Committee, we're into staff reports at present. Sheila and Jill have some interesting updates here, and Sheila, we'll hand the gavel over to you and you steer this. I'll watch the screen for you, and if I see any hands, I may politely interrupt you and let the committee ask their questions.
All right, I will try to share my screen here. It's been a while since I've done this, so we'll see how this goes. Oh, host disabled participant screen sharing.
I think I just enabled it, Sheila.
Okay.
Thanks, Jill.
All right, can everybody see?
Yeah, I've got
the green report.
I can. Thank you. It's up.
So I'm going to go fairly quickly through this. I'll just stop at some highlight items. I'm sure you've all had a chance to take a look at it. We've been moving quite quickly through the McSweeney report, our strategic strategy, and we have been very lucky to have been able to complete a communication strategy, which we continue to build on. New website's been launched, community improvement plan's been adopted. We've already got CIP applications that we'll be looking at very soon. And we're doing a lot of news related items, and I've been working a lot of the summer on a business directory. And there's at least, we're over 100 businesses on that list, and there are many businesses still to go on that. It's mostly the outlying businesses and a lot of the home-based businesses that we would love to have the information on, so we're able to contact those people whenever we have anything specific for them. Growth charts. So since 2019, our building permits, total value of our building permits has been increasing, well, 1 million over 2019 to 220. And this year so far, we're already at 6.5 million in value for our building permits. So that's very positive news. Our assessment, it is obviously very, very much growing. And for 2021, we're at August, and it should, if everything continues as it is, continue to grow. Also very good news. So we've got some great things that are happening, and I'm sure you're all aware of that, but you can see that we do have the growth. There's about 4% growth from an initial look at things. And we keep working with those who want to develop land. It is a long haul when you do want to develop land, but we are continuing to work with them, and there's a lot of positive things happening out there in that area. We did get 4 CIP applications, and those should be going to council this month. We are working to get complete applications from some of them. Water main installation along our main street in Glencoe. That's going to be a great thing moving forward for both development and reducing unexpected operating costs. The Elm Child Care Facility is complete and I believe operating at this point, which is also great news. That will help to bring people into town, and you'll see them using our services and our businesses. Dobie subdivision has received its approvals at the county level, and now it's moving on to fulfilling any conditions that are related to that. Following areas are either in discussion or application stage: Glen Meadows, which is back behind No Frills, Stella Avenue by the Catholic Church, and South Street. Those are 3 big regions that are under discussion or application, and we're pretty sure they will proceed further as growth allows. And partnerships are occurring with the Arboretum through Middlesex County. They were, excuse me, they provided some funding for education through the Arboretum. So they've done some story walks, things like that. The trees will be marked on that route. And that's just another positive thing that's happening. So moving forward, we're still working on tourism, and we hope to be able to work with the county. We'd like to build some experience Southwest Middlesex information that we can put on our website and put on other potential mediums. Certified site investment readiness. My next meeting is actually with McSweeney, and one of the things that we're going to be discussing is moving a little further with the investment readiness. We were hoping to have the meeting before today's economic development meeting, but just because of scheduling, the earliest we can meet was today after the meeting. They're also looking at our branding exercise and making sure that we can get the best value out of our $30,000 budget that we have for this year, and make any recommendations for us. Business visitation and promotion activities. We've begun this, and something that I did in this latest quarterly newsletter that went out a couple weeks ago was to put in some information about some of our local businesses and the things that they provide. And we've had great feedback on that, and I'd like to build on that. And so we hope that that will grow, and we'll do some more work in that area. We're also working on communications tools with the whole community on all areas, and we want to build that and use it as an opportunity to educate the public on local policies such as tidiness and keeping your areas clean. That really includes everyone, like your residential, your commercial, your any public spaces. So that's something that we hope to work on, and we're also we'll look for opportunities to partner with local groups and service clubs to help maintain the areas that are basically vacant and in decline, and we'll see what we can work on with that. I understand that Kara's here now, and if we can take a break and let her talk, I know she's got another commitment. So is that okay with everybody?
Sheila, that'll be fine. If Kara's with us, Kara, thank you very much, Sheila. And we just made a modest change in the agendas here to accommodate the 2 ladies. And go ahead, Kara, if you're with us. We'll have to take our screen presentation down so that we can see Kara. And thank you very much for joining us, Kara.
Sorry for the delay, everyone. I had some appointments today, but nice to see you all. And Hopefully this summer has been good to everyone. Sheila just asked me to pop in today just to kind of give you an update on where things are at with the county and talk about some mutual projects. So thank you for the opportunity to do that. First and foremost, it's been a very busy summer at the office. We've had an extra set of hands in place for the last couple of months. Gabby just finished up her time with us, and so she's been very busy as our intern, getting out and doing some live stream videos and that sort of thing. And so that's wrapped up. We've had a lot of contests. Some really good things have come about because of that. We just did a Goose Chase app program. If you didn't see that, we had a little bit of a race going on throughout the county with members of the public creating teams and going out to different sites and winning gift cards for their efforts. And so that was very popular. So we're probably going to do more of that. We're really excited that we've been able to work with your team at Southwest Middlesex to get your heritage trail signs all redone this summer. So all of those, if not installed yet, are in the works and are going up. So I know that that's of real interest to your heritage folks in the area, the historic group, and we're excited to see that happening as well. That's something we've been working on for some time. We have also provided some funding for that. So, and we still have a bit of funding available. So if there are any groups in Southwest Middlesex that are looking to advance tourism type projects for the remainder of 2021, there is some matching funding available for that purpose. So there's a broad range of things going on, everything from videos to live events, markets, all of the rest across the county. And so if anybody you know is looking to do anything before the end of the year, they can certainly reach out to us. And we're happy to do that. And we were able to do that with your heritage trail signs. So excited. Other things, we have a brand new full-time economic development officer starting at our office on Tuesday morning. So we're excited. Ben Chance is going to be joining us. We actually have a roundtable economic development meeting taking place next Thursday. So I expect we'll probably see Sheila, maybe Jill on there, and we'll have an opportunity to introduce Ben to the group. And we've reached out to Sheila and she's provided us with some ideas of projects that we can get Ben in tune with in Southwest Middlesex and get him involved to advance some of the things that you wish to do as part of your economic development strategy. So we're excited for that opportunity to partner. And then Sheila, have you talked about our biggest project that I know the mayor is aware of, but the group may not be as a whole?
No, I haven't said anything at this point. It's been confidential on our end.
Right. So I am really excited to tell you that over the course of the last many months, the county and Southwest Middlesex have been working together with a team of consultants as well as a potential investor for 100 acres in Southwest Middlesex, abutting the industrial park. I know the mayor is aware of this investment because the owner has reached out to him. I was in touch with him yesterday. I'm happy to tell you the sale has closed on that property and that you can be expecting a major investment in your community in the next year. It will be a major greenhouse operation. It is not cannabis. For those of you that may be curious, it is actually vegetable and fruit growing. It is a sizable investment by a ongoing investor that has a similar facility in St. Thomas. So we're very excited about this investment. I want to congratulate the Southwest Middlesex team for all of their efforts. Sheila's been involved since day one. Jill's been on those calls, and it's working very carefully with your team, both in public works as well as in the planning department. So very exciting times. You're probably looking at around 50 new jobs coming into your community as soon as that takes shape. So watch for that. I'm sure you've heard rumors in the community, but we're happy to tell you that that is becoming a reality. And I know that they just had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and the owner tells me that went very well. So.
Good. Thank you, Kara.
You're welcome.
Yep. There are good things happening. Just to kind of check back on Sheila's comment about the 4% growth. That is very good. We know that there's municipalities around us that are growing as well, but I think in terms of Southwest Middlesex, we're not leading the pack. There are some communities that are growing faster than us. But that being said, we came from a negative growth position to a very positive growth position. So we certainly are going the right way. And I too have been working on some new occupants for the business community, the vacant stores, and I can assure you that I am having some success with that. I was hoping to bring in 3 new businesses to Glencoe, and one is closed, and one will be here, and there's a second that we're on the just on the precipice of convincing him that this is a good market. So you will see some of these empty storefronts fill up prior to Christmas, I hope.
Yeah, I can also tell you, Mayor, that we have had recent inquiries, more of the Main Street type of investment as of late. We're also watching very closely what's going to be happening with the new Main Street funding that's coming down from higher levels of government. And we're also working together with some of your tourism providers on making an application for more tourism relief funding. And that is an exciting prospect that we may be able to offer some match funding in terms of grants to tourism providers throughout the county for going into other areas. And I can tell you as well that there were members of your community and that did receive funding out of the last tourism relief funding as well. So some exciting times, and certainly some major growth happening both on the residential and the commercial and industrial side for your community.
Good, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, Kara, we appreciate that report. I'd like to tell the committee, and Sheila alluded to it, the CIP funding, there's been 4 applications. And I was involved with the discussions with some of those applicants. And I'll tell you, there's not a better feeling in the world, committee, that you can get when you see someone's eyes light up over perhaps a modest $1,500 even. That is a respectable amount of money. It may not seem like a lot to some, but in terms of a business owner operator on the main street, by giving them a chance to acquire $1,500 to freshen up things, it's a real joy to see their enthusiasm. And I applaud both administration, staff, and council for procuring this program, the CIP program. I can assure you that the recipients of those funds are just like a kid around a Christmas tree. They're really delighted.
The other thing I could add for you, Mayor, is that we have just finished our business profile videos for this year as well. And I'm happy to tell you that was Penta Equipment this year, and they were absolutely delighted to be part of the process. So I know how thankful they are to you and the municipality, and we can't wait to show you that video as soon as it becomes available. So that'll be out this fall.
That's good news, Kara. I appreciate that. I know the owner called me up and said he had some marketing difficulties, and I put him on to you, so I knew that you would solve his problem. Is there anything more, Kara, that you would like to bring forward?
No, I'm sure that Sheila and Joe will have more to bring forward after we have our roundtable next week, but I just leave the table open. You know, again, I want to congratulate your staff for an exceptional partnership with the county over the course of last year in advancing your ACTAV strategy, and just leave the door open to all members of this committee that if there are projects that you feel like we can get involved in and advance for you, we are here to do so.
Okay, thank you again.
Thank you.
And I'll get the word out on that tourism money.
That's right.
This evening, I'll crack a few emails out to people that might be able to use that.
That's great. Mayor, I'll send you an email with the application form attached.
Okay, that's great.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll continue on. Sheila, if you could just apprise the chair of where you are on this agenda. I think you were on 6A, and I'm just not sure whether you had finished that. I'll hand it over to you, and you can conclude your remarks or continue on. I'm looking at the clock, and we still have you, Sheila, for about another 40 minutes.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I finished moving forward. So that pretty much does finish up the presentation on that part. So yes, we are progressing. Things are happening at quite a fast pace for a small community that's just starting on their way. And it does take some time to get these things going. So we hope everybody can be patient as we make our way through and as we continue to grow.
Good, thank you very much. Committee, I know that these development applications seem like they take an extremely long amount of time, but I can assure you that that Southwest Middlesex staff and administration, I can testify and back it up through many conversations and emails that I have, that they do an excellent job at putting these through at the quickest possible route they can. They must be cognizant and protect the ratepayers of Glencoe, be cognizant of our infrastructure that we currently have, make sure that it is a user pay system, that these developments do not go on the levy, but are sustained and supported by the developer. So they are very, very complex. And I know that there are times we all get impatient, including the mayor, but I can assure you that staff are responding to their responsibilities, and they too want to see a successful conclusion to these developments. But very often there's some I's that have to be dotted. And it's not that the developer is waiting upon the municipality. Very often it's the municipality that is waiting upon the developer. So I just want to assure you that we're doing our very, very best. Okay. Sheila, that concludes 6A for you?
Yes.
Where are you? Yeah. Okay. And 6B, tourism and business support. You touched on that briefly. Is there anything else regarding that?
So 6B, I just want to give the opportunity for us to have a roundtable discussion, and the points that are within the report are just basically discussion points. If there's other things that anyone would like to bring up to the committee for ideas, that's great. Let's just have a discussion and see where it goes.
Okay, that's fine. And Sheila, if I could be bold enough to assist you in that. And perhaps I'm looking at my screen here. I will not take these in any particular order, but I would like to go from left to right as I see the images on my screen. And the focus of the ideas, the comments made, are related to what resources we may have in tourism and business support. And if there's any concerns that any committee member would like to bring forward, we certainly will make note of those, I and Sheila and Jill, and we'll see if we can bring those forward at future meetings for a more wholesome discussion. But Mark, I'm going to start with you. Is there any concerns you've got? We've got not only our business development, we've got our agritourism development. We have various aspects of tourism in the community. We have our river, our train station. We have Skunks Misery. Is there any concerns you have in regard to business development or what you'd like to see?
No real concerns right now. I know one business success story we have in Glencoe right now is the new dentist office. I believe at times has 3 dentists working in there at a time. There's not always 3 dentists there, but I was in there in the last week and the place was really busy. So that's a good addition, because I know that building over the last 40 years, usually at least part of that building has been empty. And now it's full because the back part is all dentist office and the front part is Subway.
Yep, no, he's done very well. And thank you, Mark. Rick, you're next on my screen. Anything you'd like to share with the committee?
No, I'm mostly satisfied. I think that with COVID and with the construction on the main street and everything else, it's really hard to be negative because it's still there. I mean,
Yep.
we're gonna have to see what happens out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Rick, I don't want you to break confidentiality, but how is St. Vincent de Paul doing? Are they satisfied with what's going on? I know they're extremely important to us and our business community. They're right in the center, but could you, without breach, I don't want you to put you on the spot or breach confidentiality, but are they happy, content, or can we do something to make their life easier?
The council could donate $1 million and we could build a new store. It would look a whole lot better and we'd have the same things to do. Okay.
You're plugging away then.
Yes, that's the only way to say it. Right now, because of COVID, there has been a lot of time to clean up. And we've had a lot of stuff donated and it's been kind of hard to put out to the public that we need it at a little slower pace. It takes time to sort it and see what has value and what doesn't.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, just to pass on to them that we're glad they're there. Dennis, have you got something in terms of business development? And I know Sheila mentioned something on property standards, and we know that you champion that cause on property standards. And I was very pleased that Sheila mentioned property standards not only relates to residences, but businesses as well. Any comments from your chair, Dennis? We'll take you off mute there. Yeah, you got it.
No, I was just interested. I'm more really interested in the branding concept that's coming forward when we get around to that. Had a lot of experience in my work life with that. I think we need to, we have something unique, and that's the Hosta capital of Canada. I'd like to see some thoughts given to that. But no, I think with the COVID and the town tore up and what have you, I think we're actually doing fairly well.
Okay, that's good. And I'll make a note of that in branding. I know that there's been a lot of time invested in that image of Hostas. So in those discussions, Dennis, I'll make sure that the Hosta capital of Canada.
Well, it makes us unique for anything else, say so.
Canada. I think Sheila is quite excited about that subject of branding, and I too, and I think it's a good committee. There's lots of business experience on here, marketing experience. I know when you were with Ford, you were involved in branding exercises through your travels to the U.S., and we'll look forward to that, getting information from all committee members. And our consultant is very good, and because of the work they did on the CIP and things like that, there's a lot of information that they have about us in terms of you'll remember the public meetings we had. There were many, and they'll all walk away with some good information on our image and what we're trying to convey. Harold, I know your focus is history, but have you got anything that you would like to discuss on the business end of things and the tourist end of things?
Well, first off, I was glad to hear that something is in the works to do with the heritage signs.
Yep.
That's been a main thing here at the Historical Society side of it. Now, I was up actually to the station the other day, and I was kind of looking things over, and I just had some concerns about a couple of things I just thought I might bring up. First off, I'm not sure exactly when we had the station repainted. It doesn't seem all that long ago, but there seems to be, the paint is coming off quite badly. I'm not sure whether whoever is doing the painting is preparing properly. I think we got to take a look at that. Like undercoating or at least preparing the wood properly.
Yeah, priming is what you're referring to. Yeah.
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 And because if you leave it and keeps going like the way it is now, the wood is just going to deteriorate. In fact, some of it right now is very soft. It's because it's rotting.
Yeah.
Because of the weather, it's getting into it. Now, that's one aspect.
Okay.
Another one is from the ground up. Now, I was in the basement, and the basement is really quite humid and moldy. I know that they may be taking a look at this right now, but because there's a great big fan running down there and a dehumidifier. But initially it was just a fan, but fan just moves air around. It doesn't really, to me, attend to the moisture issue. First off, because we have no windows, we have no ventilation there. Now there is a dehumidifier now in there, which is good. It's doing its job, but there's still moisture around those walls. And I think it's just got to be more, it should be looked at a little more seriously, I believe. That's just how I feel.
Well, it sure has got that
station, our station is a very, very important thing. And, I don't think we got to keep an eye on it.
Yes, that's sometimes referred to as the jewel in the crown. So we know that, and your point's well taken.
Yeah,
we'll make sure that facilities are apprised of that, and I'm sure Jill can add to that. Jill, go ahead. There may be action already commencing. Jill, you take the floor.
Sure, we have noticed this as well this year. You're correct that it wasn't very long ago, Harold, that there was a painting at the station, and it appears to me it's mostly around the trim where we're seeing some peeling happening.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and we'll make sure. We also have to bear in mind that we've had a tremendous amount of rainfall this year.
Yeah,
we have, and that has precipitated some of the problems, not only in the station but in some residents in the community. But I don't think any of us will dispute the fact of how important the station is to us. And there's budget times coming up, Harold, and we'll have to address some of this. Budget discussions will commence probably late October, mid-October. And we will, if there's anything that we can do to mitigate that, we certainly will in terms of HVAC or some other aspects of the station. Okay.
Thank you.
Harold, Mike, have you got any concerns that we can jot down on our to-do list?
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'm not really on the to-do list, but I just like to say I don't believe that municipal staff should be taking over and in competition with volunteers and local businesses. And yoga classes would be one example. They were held throughout the municipality prior to COVID. And I just don't think that we should be running competition against these businesses.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, your point's taken. Anything else? Okay. Councillor Cowell, we save you to the last, but Nothing to do with the quality of what you deliver. So go ahead.
One of the things I had thought on was the fact that we are seeing that there have been a lot of events that have been canceled as a result of COVID. And as some of these events come back, I think having some support from the municipality would help them get on track. One of the things that we see, especially as I'm involved with volunteer groups, and I suspect that my Councillor Scholdice and Mr. Cowell and Councillor McGill and everyone else who's involved in organizations, is that your volunteers are getting older and there is less and less and less of the younger generation filling that gap. And if we want to continue having some of these events, we will see that volunteerism is needed, and perhaps we can provide a bit of support in organizing or facilitating some of these events. And I don't mean that we would take them over in any way, because I don't want to be involved in that. But an example I had was how we had our Canada Day coordinated in part by our staff member, even if it was just for a few hours, where the counselors came out and handed out different items. And I think even with markets and things like that, different volunteers come and go. But in Strathroy, they had a volunteer running the market, and it was a lot of work and there was a lot of stress involved. And ultimately it ended up being something that the municipality took over because they saw a lot of economic benefit for the entire town in it, but volunteers got taxed. And I don't think we need to go and start taking them over, but I think we need to be open to the opportunities that come to us. And if someone comes to us and says, you know, we would like a bit of support, or we need some help filling the gap, that we're prepared to fill that gap. And with that in mind, whether that's something from Sheila's department or the rec department, I'm not sure how that would get that back into who that would be. I know right now we have a fantastic rec program coordinator, and whether it's something where you work together, that's just something I'm mindful of.
Yep.
And
to
add to that competition side of things, all local people were provided the opportunity to be involved in the rec programming. I spoke with our rec program coordinator because I inquired. There was a program that I specifically wanted to participate in because I assumed it would be a local provider, and I was informed the local provider wasn't interested in providing programming. And so they opened themselves up to competition by not participating in the programs that were provided. So
okay, wrap it up soon, Krista, if you can. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you allow everyone else to speak as much
I
as
did,
they
yeah, but I'm just looking at the clock. I want to be extended it to, I've given you as much time as anyone, and I'm not cutting you off. I'm just saying if you could just conclude your statement.
That's not actually the case, but if you'd like to tell yourself that, go ahead.
All right.
Anyway, so as I'd mentioned, with regards to actual economic development, I think that providing a bit of staff support is a way to do that, going forward with some events, even if it's just working with the CCC, again, being mindful that we don't want to step on anyone's toes, but if we can help support, we need to be prepared for it.
Thank you very much. It's just, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just when I see repetition at several times, sometimes it has to be noted. Committee, I'm very pleased to have Amy Choi with us today. Amy, I don't want to put you on the spot as first time, but because you see through new eyes and younger eyes, Amy, we certainly would like you to, if you have any thoughts on business, Amy, if you unmute yourself, we'd certainly like to hear from you. And if you choose not to, Amy, no problem at all. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
No, not a problem at all. I just have the kids running around here with me, so
well, that's good. No problem.
I'm still just taking it all in. I think I do have some comments stirring in my mind that I'd like to bring up at a later date, maybe at future meetings with Sheila. But I am enjoying this conversation.
Good. Thank you very much. Well, again, we're very pleased to have you, and we certainly want your input. discussion is good and we like engagement. So we're delighted to have you. Okay. Sheila, I think we've been around to everybody. And of course, you certainly can take the floor at this time. Are you still with us? I see you there. Yep, there you are. We haven't missed anyone, I don't believe. And
No.
staff, certainly, we always enjoy hearing from staff. Jill, if you would like to bring forth any knowledge you've got or any observations you've got, the floor is certainly open, and Sheila yourself as well.
So I think Krista had some good points about working with the community, and I would like to have that be a future direction that we do take. There is a lot of need for our help out there, and if we can partner with people, make their lives a little easier, it will make for better community events and promotion, things like that. So I don't know if there's anything that anyone wants to kind of pull out of the report that was provided for concepts and different things. If there's anything, if we'd like to improve our communications with the community. Right now, we have three or four main ways that we are communicating with the public. We have the quarterly newsletter, and that seems to be a great tool. It goes to every household and every business, every mailbox basically in Southwest Middlesex. And the feedback that I've received is very good on that. I don't know if we want to look at increasing that. We also have our council news after every council meeting. That seems to be declining a little bit in commenting. We also do a little community corner in the banner, and that's once a month where we put kind of important things. This month what we've done is we've put in that the water line work will be continuing in the downtown. Please park at our parking lot off the main street, and please support our businesses was the message in that. And then we also include in that publication things to watch for. So we've got coming up in the next month, 2 months, we've got some family movie nights that are being promoted. New programs coming for recreation, just different things to watch for in that respect. So that's been very positive.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheila. I just have something tangible to take away. You mentioned, and further to Krista's comments, that we have to help the volunteer community. We have a database. Barb Pinnell and I worked on that at length, and we work on it actually every year, that we make sure we have a database of names of the volunteer and the community spirited organizations within Southwest Middlesex. They number approximately 60. Organizations, so they're quite extensive. So we have that database. We can communicate with them. We know how to reach them and get information to them. Yeah, would you want a direction from the committee to put out a message to the volunteer community that we're here to assist them through these troubling times? Did you want something from the committee that you can take back to council as a recommendation?
If that's what you would like to do, sure, the direction would be welcomed.
Okay, I may need some help formulating that request because in the spirit of the report that came to council about we want permission for volunteers to be active, but at the same time, to extend the invitation that we are very supportive of them and thankful of them. There is a message that goes out annually from the administration, staff, council, to every volunteer organization once a year, but it's a seasonal message more than anything. But there is a database that we can use. Mark, I'm sorry to keep you waiting there. Go ahead. I see your hand up.
I was partly just holding my hand up like that, but I did have a question. Sheila, or through the mayor, Sheila, I like the Southwest Middlesex What's New, and I like the quarterly newsletter. When is the next one coming out? I believe it's ready to come out anytime now. And then could we maybe perhaps have them come out? They haven't really been coming out quarterly. It's been less than quarterly. Could we maybe try to get to quarterly? And do we have money in the budget to outsource the printing? And would that help in being able to get more out if we outsourced the printing? Because I've heard that it's quite time consuming doing the printing in-house.
There is a little bit of time lag in there, and it may be something to look into. I think our last newsletter was ready the first part of August, and it just went out recently, close to the end of August. So there is, I don't know if it's the printing or if it's a Canada Post issue. I don't know what's going on with that. Yes, definitely, we do need to be more on track with them. We do. Our first year was sort of partway through the year we started, so it was a little bit hard. And then this year, because of commitments of everyone, it was difficult to get them on track again. But they definitely should be quarterly. It may, and I think I've noted that in the report, that it may be worth looking at something a little more frequently. And then that may shorten the actual physical length of the newsletter, although it would increase your postage cost to get it to everyone. But I think you could do a little more current news at that point. Sometimes by the time we have the newsletter ready, some of the information is a little out of date or could be out of date by the time it gets sent out. So there's some room for improvement with that. You're correct.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Those comments Sheila will mull over, and we'll see what improvements can be made. Communication is important. Sheila's our champion on that. Is there any other concerns? And Sheila, I don't see a recommendation in front of you, but I'll leave it to you to direct the committee in terms of a recommendation now or in a future meeting. But I think the some statement that goes out to the volunteer community that we're here to help them, and we encourage you to continue your work. And you're an important part of our community, and we can certainly get that message out to them. And at some other time, Jill, yes, go ahead, Jill.
My apologies, Mayor, and the rest of the committee. I keep breaking up here. But so I didn't hear all of Councillor Cowell's comments, but from what I did catch, I think the idea is looking for support, just to help facilitate some of the economic development activity, perhaps through a like assisting with markets, etc. Was that the gist of what that was? Yeah, I think that's excellent. And I think that's exactly the type of role for economic development that we could help to support. I think it's a really good role. Obviously, if it's a use of our facility, it engages facilities and recreation. But if there's a way to help promote or enlarge the type of initiatives that are already happening with the business community, I think that's what Sheila is looking for. And I think that kind of message out to the business community of what else that they're looking for, and then to volunteers what they're hoping to see. I think that'd be lovely.
Okay, I think an example of that is, as you all know, the Glencoe Fair will not materialize this year as it has for the last couple of years, but the Fair Board are bringing the fair to the business community, so to speak. There's going to be food vendor trucks around the station and ice cream trucks, things of that nature over a period of 2 to 3 days. So that's an example of the Glencoe Agricultural Society, a volunteer organization, are bringing their program to the heart of the business district, which is admirable. And of course, Tim Hamilton's work on the markets are continuing, and they're doing that on a shoestring budget, and but they add a significant amount of value to the business community when they're operating on Saturday. Okay, Sheila, I'll leave that with you. Anything in conclusion, Sheila, before you leave us?
The only thing I'd just like to say is that, I'd like to see us take on a cooperative effort internally.
Oh, you're breaking up, Sheila. Just try that again. Sheila, you just broke up on us. Yeah. I'm not sure, committee, if I'm the only one, but on my screen, Sheila appears frozen.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. I think what Sheila is trying to do is that she may want an endorsement from the committee that we support the volunteerism in Glencoe and offer the municipalities support in any way we can in a fiduciary manner. Jill, am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, I think with her last report, she was looking for a conversation with the committee to just ensure that the direction she's heading is on track. So I think that's what she was looking for. If you want a formal endorsement of that, that's totally fine, the committee. But I think we've also got the sense of, making sure that we're all on the same page as to the direction.
Yeah, okay. I think to conclude it, and I don't want to disappoint Sheila on this committee. It's unfortunate she froze on us, but I think what we do, you've heard her report. It's been fairly wholesome. You've seen the growth. You've also seen some philosophy of how we can help people in our community, and that's the mandate. Can we get an endorsement from the committee that we support the report from our communications officer? All right, thank you, Mark. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Rick Cowell, rather. And Rick Cowell has seconded that. Councillor McGill has moved it. I'll open it up for discussion, committee. And Jill, you can paraphrase that any way you wish, but the committee is very pleased with Sheila's report. Everyone's had some input in it and some comments. We will take that back to council, that the Economic Development Committee endorse the direction that the report is given. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion's carried. Any announcements, anyone? I think there's a, yeah, I think all the dinners are pretty well done. The last one was Tate's. I don't think there's any, I don't know if there's any coming up or not. Rick, go ahead.
I believe that the Glencoe Fair Board is having one in September. The Lions Club will probably be having one in October. And I believe that the Presbyterian Church is having one in November, unless I've let out a secret, Mark, and I apologize.
Okay, that sounds good. We will certainly have all our dietary needs looked after, I'm sure. Okay, and that looks good. Any other further announcements? Yes, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Mayhew. It's not really an announcement, but do we have time to ask about, I know Harold mentioned the heritage signs, and I've brought that up with staff too. I know the one right in front of the municipal office doesn't look in very good shape, and I think there's about 20 of them around the municipality.
Yeah.
Maybe originally they were done by the county, but where are we at on them?
It's good news, Mark, and I'll pass it over to Jill to let you know, okay?
So we did have to work with the county to access all of the information. We had record of, I think 18 of them, and there were 3 that we didn't have a record of. So the county did go through their information to help locate those, because it was originally a county initiative to get those installed. So then it was off to our local sign producer. And we have the signs. I can't remember if we already have them in the office or not, but I know that the plan is for them to prepare the posts and install them in this fall. So some of the posts look worse than others, and they need to be restained before something gets put on them again. But the idea is to use the existing post and take off that little shadow box so that the new ones are installed.
Yes, Mark, a follow-up question? And
Yeah, are they going to be like the ones at Middlemiss? Are they just going to be laminated, not the
Yep.
fancy? Well, you know, I'm glad they're getting redone. They're not going to be as fancy as those boxes that were there originally, but they'll be new and be the same information on them as before, I suppose. And also, one last thing I'd like to ask, is there going to be one at Mayfair? Because I'm told there was originally one at Mayfair and it's been gone for quite a while.
Yeah, we may have to check into that, Mark. There's 20 of them. So Jill, can you remember that? I cannot.
I don't, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, but we'll find out, Mark. We'll make it.
Alan, Mayor, I was going to say, yeah, there
originally. Go, Harold.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
Harold, go ahead there. Yeah.
I was going to say there was originally 18 initially, and then there was 3 added on a couple of years later, I believe. So that's, yeah, it should be at 21 of them all together.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good information, Harold. And it's nice, as I know it's been a long time, but they have been in disrepair for many, many years. Councillor Scholdice, thanks for your patience there. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. Just a brief point of order to point out that we have deviated from what council has decided would be allowed during announcements.
In what manner? Can you be more specific?
I was told I wasn't allowed to ask questions during announcements, and Councillor McGill just did.
Okay. Well, I think it's the information that has been provided has been beneficial, but the chair has been put on notice for being out of order. But I think in the view of the spirit of this committee and cooperation among its members, that I wouldn't disallow a question from anyone at this time. I almost cut Councillor Crothers off because Mike had been waiting so long. So the chair is attempting to rule with order, I can assure you that. And I think that's been exemplified a couple of times. Any more announcements? Perhaps you all know, I'll announce that there's 4 of the 6 historical murals will be installed on this coming Tuesday. We will start at approximately 7:30 in the morning and install the McPhee General Store on the Eckford Community Center. That's a 4x6 mural. And this program, of course, is funded by a donation from Marilyn Buttery of Commonwealth Financial. And from there, we travel to Melbourne, and on the Dufferin Lodge building, we put the home bank. That was the bank that was robbed almost 100 years ago to this week. There was one individual shot and killed at that robbery. And there'll be acknowledgements of that history later on in the year. Through Angie Giles has done a movie on it, and that'll be shown, and our picture will be up. Then we proceed to Wardsfield, and we put the, Harold would know more about this than me, but the Minmus Granite and Marble Store. It's the old post office. It was a family that were had a lot of ingenuity. They actually manufactured cars there at one time as well. And then from Wardsville, when that mural is up, we go to Foodland, and we put a mural up on the Foodland building, and it is, we wanted something cognitive of food in relationship to food. And we have an apple picking crew that are picking apples and putting them in wooden barrels that are destined for Hamilton. There's the reason we're doing 4 and not the 6. There's still some paperwork required on the others, but we have got their permission to install them from the building owners. Fred Bork has given us permission. The building committee of Dufferin have given us permission, and there's also a waiver of liability that had to be signed as well. So that is all looked after, and we look forward to getting those 4 done, and hopefully the 2 will follow in the early fall. No further announcements. Future meetings. The original minutes mentioned December 2nd, and that was the inaugural meeting of County Council, which is kind of a full day. So once Sheila and I discussed that, we came to the conclusion that the 9th of December would be better for our next meeting. So perhaps committee members could just jot that down. And council, is there anything else on anyone's mind that you'd like to bring forward before we close? Seeing none, we'll adjourn the meeting at 2:51, 9 minutes before Sheila has to depart us. Thank you very much, Sheila, and thank you, Jill. We appreciate your reports. Amy, it's been nice to have you. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good afternoon.